Well, hi. Welcome to this workshop of Wood Spun Round. I'm Doug. It's good to have you back in the shop again. I told you a week or two ago that real soon I would do a video on how I core. Everybody does it a little differently. There's roughly 3 systems for coring a large blank so that you can get some smaller blanks out of the one big one. I did that about 2 weeks ago on a blank very similar to what you see on the lathe now. I was able to get 3, a nice big salad bowl, then one a bit smaller, about a 9-inch or so bowl, and then about a 6-inch bowl out of the core of that one. What you see on the lathe right now is the other half of that same cherry log. I've spent the last hour and a half or so getting it to this position. Spent some time out in the yard with my chainsaw, getting it down to a small enough blank to put it on the lathe, and then working it on a faceplate, as you can see. Use that faceplate just to get it round and in balance. I do have a tenon on the bottom side. Let me move the camera just a bit. You'll be able to see that. There's my tenon. This log is extremely wet. About 10 minutes ago, this would have been this lighter color. What has happened is, this part here would have been the light color. It was all this color and darker as I turned it with all the moisture that is in that wood. It is soaking wet. I've been sprayed. I've collected up. I'm going to move the camera again. You can see that blue trash can full of shavings. That was empty. Those shavings are all from this cherry log, and that's not all of them. Let me scan down here. There's a whole bunch more. I'm going to pack those shavings in the trash can just a little more so I can get some more of these up into my can. I'm going to save them so that once I get these 3 cores out of this one, I can put them all in a bag together. They can then dry over the next several weeks. So I'm going to stop the camera here, and I'm going to bring you back after I've flipped it all around and get my coring system set up, and I'll tell you more about it when I get there. See you back here in just a moment. All right, at this point, you see, there's a big change there. What I've done is to take it off the faceplate. Right over here, you see the tailstock. The faceplate's actually still on it. The tailstock is pushing into the faceplate to make it centered. Here is the largest chuck that I personally have with the largest jaws on it. And so it was loose. I pushed it into the chuck with the tailstock to make sure it's all centralized, and that was able to tighten up the 2 access holes to tighten those jaws. And so now you can see that it is running pretty true on there. So let me continue on. All right, tailstock's been removed. The tool rest has been brought back. I'm going to take a couple of minutes. I'm going to flatten off this top off camera because I want to save the time for the actual hollowing process. So I'll be right back with you. All right, the face here took me just a little bit longer than I expected it to, or had a couple of issues. There was a void right in, it was just under the surface, but it was right in the edge. And then there was for lack of a better term, a spalt line that was going through. It looked like some white mold, but it was a spalt line. That's it right there. I'm not sure if you can see it or not. There's a black line right there, but above that, out here, there was a white line, and it was wide, and it got smaller and smaller and turned into this black line that's imperceivable. Did find a little spot right there. I'm still not sure what that is, unless maybe, could it be? I think I just figured out what it is. No, I'm not sure what it is. That's what I just picked out. Those may be a couple of wormholes. I'm not sure. I've not found any worms in this wood. There was some on the outside, just under the bark. But I've got this is the tool rest for the coring system. I use the McNaughton coring system. Some people really don't like it simply because it gives you some flexibility in the coring that you do. There are two other systems. They're excellent systems. One is called One Way. The One Way manufacturing makes it. A setup that bolts down to your bedways with a set of 3 knives, I believe it is, that go in and cut different sizes of cores. It's all on a central spindle, and so those knives and they're curved, and they can only go in and out one way. It's around that central spindle, which is in your tool rest. So this would be over here, everything lined up so that that knife would go in. An excellent system if you want more identical kind of cores every single time. The other one is a woodcut. The woodcut system, very similar to the One Way, not quite as heavy duty in my opinion. I've never used it. I've seen it several times, looked at it a couple of times when I was debating on what to get. I decided to go with the McNaughton. McNaughton is, I don't know, they all run about the same price range, but with it you get this tool rest. This is the gates that give you the leverage to make the curving cuts. This is the upper, to keep the tool from kicking up too high. This is part of it. It's going to look like I'm really aiming down, but I'm not. I've got the center or the cutter right on center, and these lines are where I want to cut. This is for the inner bowl. This is for the middle bowl, and of course the outer bowl will be this big. So it's going to look kind of odd. It always does. It looks odd to me every time. I'm not sure how much of this handle you can see, but this is a long, very heavy handle. It goes under this gate in the back, drops down into the gate in the front. I'm going to start with the handle way over toward you, and in my view of it, it looks like I'm way under center, but I'm not. I've come down here 2 or 3 times and looked at it, and this cutter is dead on center. I'm going to set the lathe, start the lathe running at 500 RPMs, and we're going to cut this center core out. Every once in a while, I let the pressure off and back out. Part of what I'm doing is widening the kerf just a hair, give myself a little more room to cut. Making sure my hand does not get between the upper rest and the tool. Keep my hand right on top, curled around the bottom of the tool. Show the little gap, get in between these two, and I let my hand get in there. I would find out real quick what a pinch really feels like. It would not be good at all. I'm not levering back as much as I'm pushing in. There is a little bit of pulling back, but I'm really just following the curve as the tool makes the curve. I'm following that curve as much as possible, pushing in more than I am pulling back. Really not pulling back. I'm really not putting a lot of pressure on. Biggest effort is holding up the end of this tool rest. pull my tool out. No, not quite. Not quite. Felt a spot there, it felt awful wet. All right, let's cut a little more, core it just a little deeper. It has changed sounds a couple of times already, so we're not far. There we go. I knew we were close. All right. These coring tools, when they have gone through, they're pretty warm. Pretty warm. Now you saw the top earlier. There's the bottom. It's got a little core center to it. That's where it broke off in the center. That should be, if I'm not mistaken, it's just a touch too small for my other chuck, but that's core number one. And you say, well, that's not hardly worth bothering with. Well, that's a bowl that I can sell. Even if I only sell it for $15, $20, that's $15 or $20. It's not down on the floor. So let's readjust. Let's see about what we've got here. This bowl blank is just 7 1/4, we'll call it, and the depth of this is right at 2 inches. So I've got 5 1/4 inches here to play with in the depth. I've marked it 1.5 inches in. This should be 1.5 inches from here to here, another 1.5 inches from there to there. That's what I measured it. So let me get resituated, and we'll go again at the second core. I have repositioned the rest out. Didn't have to raise it up or down. It was on the right level. We know that because we already took one core out. Still feel pretty sharp. One of the things that I have not done, partly because I've never gotten the right stuff to do it with, a lot of the turners will spray not only the tool rest but the tool itself with a PTFE lubricant, a dry lubricant, so that it slides through the wood a little bit easier. Here again, like I said before, I've got this set on dead center. I think you can see my cutter is right in on the pencil line, but as you can see, I can shallow that up. I can come around here. There we go. Now, and bring it out toward the edge a little bit, but I can also change the knives. I've got 4 other curved knives and a couple of straight knives over there, but I'm going to use the same knife. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to curl right around behind this other one. I've already checked. It looks like it's going to be just perfect. So still at the same speed, 500 RPMs. We're going to cut this second core out. There we go. Set my tool rest or tool down so I can talk to you for just a moment. Okay, you can see there I took 2 cuts. One was earlier. This was what I was just cutting just now. And I thought a while ago I was getting a little shallow. This bowl ends up being a bit shallow. We're going to measure out at, it's right at 2 inches still. So I can get a decent little bowl. It'll be a nice little tabletop bowl. But this is the big money bowl. Again, with the 2 cores that come out of it, neither one of them are large. They're both rather small. But that's better than shavings in the floor. So they'll get dried, they'll get finished turned. I'm going to change the tool rest out, get my normal tool rest, because I'm still quite thick in the bottom. What I say, 7? Yeah, I'm right at 7 inches now on the outside, and just shy of 3, 2 7/8. So I've got quite a bit of depth. I'll get that closer to even, about 1.5 inches all the way down. Then I'm going to put all 3 of these bowls in the shavings. I showed you a while ago. I've got the trash can full. I've got that much, almost that much more shavings here in the floor now, but I'll have some more once I work on this. I may work on some of those others just a little bit as well. So that's what I wanted to show you today, was this the coring system, the Kel-McNaughton coring system. This is wet, cherry, and it worked extremely well. What problems we had were my fault, not the tool's fault, not the wood's fault. It's me. I've done this a few times, but not nearly enough. I'm going to try to do more so that I have less shavings in the compost pile, more money in the pocket. Hey, if you've stuck around, you've endured to the end, and I tell you what, it can be work to turn. It's a lot of fun, but it can be work. Hey, listen, I mentioned Captain Eddie a while ago, and that just reminds me. I wanted to remind you that on Wednesday night we have a club meeting, Worldwide Woodturners, and it's just a casual group. It's on Zoom. If you would like to come, just check it out, or maybe you want to dive in head first. That's okay. Either way, we come around. It's just a group of wood turners. We talk wood turning and wood turning only. No politics, no religion, nothing else. I am a religious man. I am a Christian man. I'm a pastor, in fact. But we don't talk about those things. We talk about wood turning on Wednesday nights, 7 o'clock Eastern time. 6 o'clock Central time is when we open the Zoom meeting up. About 30 minutes to an hour later is when the actual meeting starts. We go for about an hour and a half, and then we just kind of go real casual, even more casual after that. So you come on, stay as long as you want or as short as you want. We'd love to have you. If you'd like to come, there's no meeting number or password, anything like that. Go to worldwidewoodturners.org. That's our website, worldwidewoodturners.org, O-R-G. And scroll down just a little bit, and you'll see a button there. Click to go to meeting, and that will take you straight over into Zoom. You will have to have Zoom downloaded onto your device, whether it's your phone, your iPad, your tablet, your computer, whatever it might be. But you tune in that way, and there will be somebody there by 7 o'clock at the latest, 7 o'clock Eastern time at the latest, to let you in, and we just have a great time. As Captain Eddie says, we back the pickup truck up, let the tailgate down, and tell all the lies we can. The only rule that we have, it's a no but rule. You can't say, I like that piece, but. Everybody's done what they can do, and so we admire what people have done and share. If somebody has a question, we'll give all the answers that we need. So I hope you'll come and join us on worldwidewoodturners.org on Wednesday nights in our Zoom meeting, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock on out to the west, whatever those times are. But we would love to have you with us. Come and join us on Wednesday night. Hey, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I don't put out a whole lot of videos, but when I do, you don't want to miss them. So if you'll subscribe, hit the like button as well if you can. That helps the analytics with YouTube, It helps the channel continue on. So thank you very much. Thanks for being here with me. I'll see you next time right here at Wood Spun Round.